Hey, what's up? This is Todd Smith. I am back with another video. In this video, I want to talk about Behringer, the UBXA, the massive project that is now starting to see light. People are starting to get in their studios. I actually have a few friends overseas who have already ordered it and received it. So it's definitely shipping. Obviously, some places are getting it sooner than others. Some people get thrown on a waiting list. It's a massively popular project, I assume, at this point. And in my opinion, it seems like a massive win for Behringer. Now, I think this is a huge step in the evolution for Behringer. The first couple of years, you saw a lot of mono projects, smaller synths, like over here, the little collection that I have going on here. They also released a Deep Mind, which is, a poly keyboard. But that's really about it in terms of larger, bigger Keybed projects. I feel this UBXA is an usher into that next era where you're going to start to, you'll probably still see some mono synths come out, but I think you're going to see a push towards larger, bigger projects. And I feel that's only going to help the brand. It's only going to get more people who are maybe not interested in the mono synths into these bigger projects. For the price tag and the specs that they're throwing out there, just like the mono synths, they're pretty much destroying everything else on the market. And from what I hear, with the UBXA, you get a great price and a solid product, just like you do with the monos. So it's nice to hear that that has translated into their larger projects. Now, you're never going to make everybody happy. There's always going to be somebody upset, pissed off, not enjoying the situation, doesn't like the party. You know what I mean? So with that in mind, though, I think as we go forward, as we see more of these big projects from Behringer, you're going to see that hatred a little bit start to wane downward. Like, it was super strong when they came out, like, Behringer, you know what I mean? It was very strong. It's still strong today. There's a very anti-Behringer wave. And there will always be. He'll never make everyone happy. But I think this is really the starting of the tipping point where over the next couple of years, you're going to see that anger meter dip down a bit. It isn't going to be quite as much as before. Because I just feel they're going to have so much product on the market in terms of vintage monos and poly that it's going to fall into almost everybody's hands, even the ones who have been really despising them for the last few years, because eventually there'll be a massive mono project that comes out, the CS80 or something, that just no one else is doing. It's a great price, it sounds amazing, and they're going to buy into it. I just see that happening over time. Because for me, I've been buying Behringer since for over 5 years. No issues, none. They're all rock solid. The Mono D from the very first one I bought, I've had no issues with it. Had no issues with any of them. So I've heard stories of people having issues with monos and other stuff from Behringer in terms of synths wise, but I know friends that have a Moog which the filter went to shit and it's, they had a bad filter. All I can speak about is my experience, what I've touched, and it's all been insanely stable. And bringing that into a product like the UBXA, which again, for the price and specs, really blows everything else out of the market in terms of analog. And from what I hear, the Keybed and even the build is really spectacular, which was one of the main things I was worried about is, how would the Keybed be? But I have two friends that I've really dug into their, opinions, and I trust their opinion. They're honest people. They ain't gonna tell me no BS. They are highly impressed with the Keybed that Behringer has shipped with this machine. So I believe that it is a very nice Keybed. As for the sound, I think we've already heard it. It sounds great. And then those new modes within the sound engine, that it can sound completely, makes the machine sound completely different. So with that spectacular sound and a solid build at that price range, just over $1,000, 16 voices, absolutely unreal what they are offering. And it's an absolute win for Behringer. Once they start doing more projects like this, they're really doing an amazing thing in the analog synth world. really bringing the price to the consumer. I'm really excited to see where they go past the UBXA, the next projects to hit, next ones to get announced, where they go as a company in the next like 2, 3, 5 years. Because this whole Behringer synth run that we've seen before the UBXA is very much the beginning. And I feel the UBXA is, as I said at the beginning of this video, kind of a turning of a page, and we're kind of entering a new era at this point. And this era is just an era. After that, they're going to keep expanding and evolving. I don't think they're going to be going anywhere anytime soon. And I am one to think they won't be 100% cloning forever, because at some point they're going to clone pretty much freaking everything they can, and they're going to have all this technology from all these machines. So when they combine them into their own builds, they're going to have a lot to draw from, a lot to build on, and really the entire past history of synthesizers to morph into original units later down the road. I think Behringer's products are starting to speak for themselves. Obviously, at the beginning, they didn't have the best public relations. I think like PR, the best people associating with the public. They still make some odd choices for a big company. I do believe some of those choices have been overblown and tried to make into worse situations to make people hate the company more, from synth news sites and big content creators within the synth world and things of that nature. I'm not going to go deep in that topic, but I do feel even though they have made weird choices as a corporation, it has been overblown and manipulated in ways. Beyond that, that's the only thing I'm saying about that. I think the further, if they can stick to a good PR, just kind of like stay away from the wacky stuff and just let the product speak for itself. The further and further all that wacky, weird stuff kind of gets in the rear view and it goes years and years and years behind, but it's just good product coming out, it's going to mean less and less. And this UBXA, in my opinion, is the first step in that direction. Man, I wish I could get one justifiably. I can't. I'd have to motorcycles. I'd have to sell a couple of my bigger units, like the Juno X or something like that, to even remotely justify having another keyboard. When I have keyboards I can't even play, just scattered all around here. You know what I mean? But for the market, for other people, it's going to be an absolute killer. Absolute killer. I'm glad it's an option. Obviously, the UBXA is just a highly classic, wanted synth. So I could possibly get the desktop down the road used. I could see that, because I don't need keys. Even though I've heard the keys are amazing, I really don't need more keys. Again, I have to sell some keys to justify having more keys. Not that I need a desktop right now, but I'm just saying down the road, after it was released in a while and I saw it used at a good price, that's something I could see myself going. I believe they are making a desktop, which I hope they do that with all their big synths. If they stick to that, giving a nice big keybed, giving a desktop version, maybe even a desktop version that you can rack up like the old days, giving you all three of the kind of classic builds. Man, that would be sick, because that is one thing that a lot of companies just don't do anymore. I'm super excited to see where this road goes. Do you agree with me that the UBXA is kind of the first step in the new era of Behringer synths? I would love to know your opinion on the Behringer synths you own, if you haven't dropped them already. I know some of you have been around and you've already told me. If you have, how have you been in general? How's your day? I hope you've had an amazing week. I hope you had a great holidays. And I hope everyone is staying safe. Stay positive, stay creative, support each other. Peace.